Welcome to episode 44 of Ring Talk, the weekly Goodwin boxing show with myself, Martin Theobald, back from my 1 week hiatus, of which Max Budgeon did a fantastic job. Well, I really enjoyed watching it actually, rather than being involved in it. Yeah, I'm going to take more weeks off. And Steve Goodwin back from Monaco. Yeah. Back from Frank Buglioni's loss to Fang Long Meng. Buglioni, sorry Frank, sorry Pete if you're watching. And his subsequent retirement yesterday evening, Monday night. Obviously been a bit of a hard 48 hours, I guess, for Frank and Don Charles and yourself and the team around him.
Well, we were all in Monaco. We never flew out till I think it was about 9 o'clock in the end on Sunday night. So we were all together in Monaco all day chatting, and after the disappointment of Saturday. Was
it discussed Sunday as a possibility?
Discussed Saturday.
Oh, what? Straight after? Yeah. Was that an emotional thing?
No,
was that
was no. He's
because Frank's a very intelligent, thoughtful individual, isn't he?
The funny thing was, his dad said something. Well, we'll come on about Frank in a minute, but his dad said something to me. He said, I always said to Frank, he said, when he started boxing, I said, what's the most important thing in boxing when he was an amateur? And and Frank said, the jab. And his dad said, no. And then basically, so Frank gave up after a while. He said, the right time, to know the right time to stop. And after the fight, his dad said to Frank, I think the next day, Frank, what's the most important thing in boxing? And Frank goes, the jab. He said, you've forgotten. And to be honest, if we look at the situation on Saturday, Frank was in the fight. He was arguably on the judges' cards 3-1 down going into the fifth.
Yeah, which isn't insurmountable. It's not
insurmountable. He'd had a really good third, where he'd won the third round, clearly in my opinion. Look, and I thought, we're picking up here. And then the fourth Ming's come out and really gone for it. But at the start of the fifth, I thought Frank was doing okay until he got cut. But the whole point was, their plan was that Frank would sort of be behind at the halfway stage, and then push on and take over.
Pressure.
So, whatever you think about how the fight was going, it was then going to be. It was always going to be that way. And Frank may or may not have been able to take over, but we'll never know. But unfortunately, the cuts went again. Yeah. And when you are a fighter such as Frank, who will never do things the easy way, he's a warrior, isn't he? Yep. But when the skin starts to give up like that, and the point is he's got a good life outside the sport, he's financially secure, and there's no point in him fighting, because he can fight fighters that he would beat, and now his skin's going to cut up on him. There's just no point. So he goes into a fight now, if he carries on, knowing full well that he may have to be battling not only the fighter, be battling cuts. Yeah. What's the point? So I think the decision was quickly come to, and I think Saturday night it was first talked about, Sunday it was spoken about again, and I was fairly sure that was what was going to happen. And then Frank made the immediate decision on Monday, and I think he's made the correct decision. For me, looking after, I managed him for 2.5 years, and I took over when he had left Frank Warren's, and I want to tell a story about the man in a minute. I think it's really important. And I looked after him. We got the British title. We won. We defended it. We've had a great run, and Frank has had a great career. But the one story about Frank that nobody would know, and this to me was just typifies the man, was when he came to me. The first time he came to me, I met him in Don's gym, and he came to the office with himself, his dad, and Don. And we were talking about me managing him. And at the time when I was going to take Frank on, I hadn't managed any high level fighters. So I'd managed to English level. That was it. Yeah. But probably at that time, I don't even think I'd had an English champion. I think it was probably Southern Area at that stage.
Johnny Garth.
I think Johnny Garth would come after. So I think it was a similar time. And I said to Frank, I know I'm a really good manager, but it's not proven yet. So I don't believe I can sit in front of you and say that I should be your manager and give all the reasons why. And I think you've got to take a leap of faith to let me become your manager. So what I'm going to do for you putting that leap of faith in me is that I am never going to charge you a management fee. I will do it for free, because the benefit is I will be able to prove that I'm good at what I do, and which will show other people in boxing what I can do. And you're going to get a great manager, in my opinion, but you're never going to
free of charge.
You're never going to have to pay me, because I don't think that's right. So that was the basis upon which we undertook our arrangement, and I sent him a letter confirming that and everything like that, because when you sign the boxing board contract you can't put zero management. So anyway, after a little while, he turned around to me and said, "No, I can't do this anymore. I cannot have you doing this job for free." He said, "I'm going to pay you." I said, "Frank, you don't need to pay me, because the deal is the deal." And he insisted on paying. And he then volunteered to pay money. Now, in boxing, how many people
willingly give
money? And I'd done the deal. I contractually agreed for 3 years never to charge him. But the man actually wanted to pay, because he said it was immoral not to pay. Now, I think that says everything about Frank as a man. In a sport and an environment where notoriously people try and screw you out of pennies in whichever way possible, it's a different moral compass than most. And when he won that British title, we got him mandatory for the British title, and he won that British title in Manchester. The elation I felt, because of who of the type of man he is, the elation I felt for him was amazing, and I don't ever believe it will ever be surpassed. I just believe that night, for me, he's given me the best boxing night of my whole life. Yeah. And I don't think that'll ever be surpassed. And it's just been a great privilege to do it, and and I feel that he would take on he will take on all challenges. The decision of fighting Ming rather than Yard or Burton, we still believe it was the right fight to take for the right reward. But obviously, with what happened in the fight, assuming that the skin would have been the same, the resultant thing would have been the same no matter who he fought, because his skin just wasn't holding up. And because of the way that Frank fights, which is with his heart. I was re-watching today the 12th round versus Burton. Yeah. It's probably one of his best defensive rounds I've ever seen Frank box, in that he was actually blocking, parrying, slipping shots that he never seemed to normally do through the rest of his career, and then goes and lays him out. It was probably his best technical round that I can remember of. And I still believe, I believe if he didn't cut like he was cutting at the end of his career, I think there could have been more. He cut badly against Burton, didn't he? Yeah. Do you remember? And I think if he hadn't have cut, what you find with someone like Ming was the man is a skilled operator, got quite a long way in the World Amateur Championships, undefeated as a pro. When Frank was applying pressure to him, he was definitely feeling the effects of pressure. I'd love to see Anthony Yard. Anthony Yard said on a video that he wants to fight world fighters, he doesn't want to fight British level fighters. Meng's perfect for Anthony Yard. I'd love to see Anthony Yard fight Meng, because he doesn't he qualifies because he's just been on from what Anthony said, he wants somebody who's just been on live television, he's just been on Sky Sports qualifier. Anthony wants to fight somebody who is known around the world. Well, he's promoted by Rock Nation. He's known in China. He's known in America. He's got contracts in America. Perfect. He's ranked very highly and got a world ranking. Perfect. And that would be great. I'd love to see Anthony Yard. If Anthony Yard takes that fight, he doesn't want Isaiah Burton because he's too low. Fan Long Meng's sitting there. Fan Long Meng is not signed to Matchroom, my understanding is. So that's a perfect fight. I'd love to see Anthony. I'd love to see fight, because I think that would. And if Anthony can beat Fan Long Meng, hats off. Yeah, and that solidifies a live, real light heavyweight who's not on the downgrade. Yeah. So going back to Frank, are there any regrets that Frank's got for his career? Anything that he's expressed he wished he'd been able to do? Or because I know didn't he get offered the opportunity to fight Kovalev, was it, or Ward as well? Yeah, we were offered Ward and Kovalev. Like mad to think of it, but at the time, you see, Frank was trying to win the British Championship outright. Yeah. So that was his focus. That was all he ever wanted to do. And he missed it by one fight. Yeah. But he was offered the Kovalev fight, and he was offered the War fight, but he knew he would lose. Yeah. And he knew he'd be just taking the money. When you don't need the money, you're chasing the dream of what you want to achieve. So if he wanted the money, he would have chased that. But he was after what he wanted, and that was really where it was. And he was always somebody that obviously wanted to earn as much money as he could, but money wasn't his god. You couldn't do we wouldn't do something just for the money. Again, it's rare that you put your principles and ambitions over a paycheck. I think he's unique. Frank Buglioni is a unique person in boxing. And I want to credit Anthony Yard, by the way, we just talked about his fight, but he wished, in his interview, he wished Frank all the best, and it was very honourable what he didn't go on about, he didn't want to fight me or any nonsense like that, so he wished him all the best. And I think fighters have this camaraderie when a boxer retires. I think they respect each other, and that's really,
well, you
really
look
important.
at Waddy Camacho and Stephen Simmons, after all they've been through, and then when Stephen retired, they exchanged
and that was classy, wasn't it? And that was classy, and then he wishes him all the best, and I think that's really classy. Stephen Simmons was really classy, and I think that's great. And I think that's what boxing's about, because they're all warriors, all putting themselves on the line. And whilst they're competitors, I get it. And it's nice that when one retires, they complement each other.
Yeah,
and
they gather
and
round.
Anthony said he had a great career, and great. So I think it was very complimentary to Frank, and that's really, really, really good. So
yeah, and it is a fascinating career as well, isn't it? Because he was built up from early doors as being this big ticket seller from Enfield that filled out York Hall almost single-handedly. And that was kind of what he was built as.
Yeah,
was a big ticket seller, and then that created WBO opportunities and.
Do you know, as an amateur though, he had the highest percentage knockout ratio of any amateur.
Did he?
Got to the semis of the actual senior ABAs. Good fighter. And
that's almost overlooked through the early part of his career, where it was just seen that he was this ticket seller that, in the end, went on to achieve things that 99% of boxers won't ever do. So, congratulations, Frank, and may see him down at York Hall on Saturday.
Yeah, hopefully he's coming Saturday, and hopefully anybody that's there will be able to send him his good wishes every time, because he deserves it, and he's been just such a. I'll be lost not dealing with him, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Like, to me,
there'll be a gap.
It's a gap. It's a gap for me, because I'm not talking money-wise. We're just talking dealing with somebody who's so professional, so and just has everything. The way he trains, the way he eats his food, everything he does is so professional. Whatever he does in life, he will be a success.
I remember you saying about the thing with Monaco, and he was looking at accommodation there because of the way that his lifestyle was dictated by how professional he was.
Yes,
and so he wasn't happy just to accept the hotel arrangements and wanted to look at.
And that's what he did in the end. The hotel done everything what he wanted, so he was able to stay there.
Yeah.
But he would have spent the extra money on getting everything that he needed. And I've just I can't. Words can't explain how highly I regard him, both in a professional and in a personal sense. And I think everybody in boxing will wish him all the best.
Yeah, absolutely. Congratulations, Frank. Hopefully we'll see you Saturday at York Hall. It'll be a pleasure to go and wish you well in retirement.
Absolutely.
We'll come back to the Saturday just gone. Obviously, you weren't there, so it's a bit difficult to run through all the action. I
think the best thing for me is to let you run through the action, because I haven't watched the videos yet. I know the results.
Okay.
So I think you should run through, because otherwise I'm just saying what I've heard rather than you.
That means I have to use my memory, which is.
Well, let's run through what we know. Let's run through the main event was Sam Gilley, Ryan Toms.
Sam Gilley, I personally, I didn't say it before the fight, and I always have an opinion on typically who I think will or won't win. If I don't think a fighter's going to win, I don't tell them before a fight, because I don't like the idea that I'm seeding negativity into them in some way. So I don't think that's fair. I thought Sam would lose on Saturday.
Did you?
I did, and I said it subsequently.
I didn't.
No, I thought it was too early for him. I thought off the back of the Fred Evans win for Ryan Toms, beating Arthur Herman, drawing with the other lad, I can't remember. I thought Ryan had everything going for him going into this, and maybe too early for Sam.
It was me that persuaded Rod Julian, his manager and trainer, to take that fight.
Was it?
I rang Rod and said, why don't we do Ryan Toms? I actually selected that for him. I thought he'd win, so I'm glad I was right and you were wrong.
Yeah, I'm terrible at picking fights anyway, so no fighter should listen to me.
I really thought it was perfect for Sam.
I was chatting with Sam and Rod beforehand, and I really, really, really like Sam's attitude. He basically said, look, I don't want to get to 15-0 and then find out I'm not good enough to beat Ryan Toms. That's not being disrespectful to Ryan Toms, but
it's a great fight, Ryan.
2-time Southern Area champion, got some great achievements. And Sam was saying, look, I don't want to get to that point and find out. I need to find out now. And a lot of fighters could learn from that attitude.
It saves them going through, keep selling tickets when they're not good enough. We're keen on giving people tests. I mean, other promoters, managers are not. They want to just keep them. We want them to win, but we want them to have tests along the way. We're talking about Youssef Khoumari.
Appropriate tests. And that was appropriate for Sam. It was,
but it wasn't a gimme, was it? For God's sake.
God, no, not at all.
So, I think full congratulations there to Sam Gilley and Rod Julian, because Rod's doing a brilliant job with him. Sam's doing well, and long may we work together with him on a promotional basis, and we'll help. And Rod's a friend of mine, so we'll help him everywhere we can.
Yeah, it was a fantastic performance by Sam. He kept it, like when it was drawn onto the inside, he was very, very clever, able to get back out and circle round, just work off that longer jab, and the shot that finished it, just a little feint up top, and it bang, doubled Ryan Tom's over. Ryan wasn't getting up from that. It was a kind of body shot that you felt as you were sat there. So yeah, just massive. Like, I was really, really impressed by Sam, and that was the kind of step up that convinces you that actually there's something about the kid. And
what about Ramez Mahmood? Because I was told he looked quite good on
He did, and the best thing about Ramez, he very, very quickly timed his opponent. I can't remember the lad's name, but it was just a little step out, step in, step out, step in. Kept doing that and just catching the lad clean. Often the other lad, he had these boots on that seemingly must have dipped him in oil before the fight or something. Just couldn't keep his footing. It was so annoying. He must have tumbled 6-7 times during the fight.
Really?
It was really weird. The thing about this, Ramez, if you're watching, Ramez needs to get that killer instinct about him, because he's such a nice guy, and outside the ring, lovely, like so softly spoken, so nice. I was messaging him Sunday. The lad at one point, he goes to his corner, the fight's still ongoing, he goes to his corner, he's got a problem with his glove, but he kind of half turns his back, and Ramez stepped off. I thought, fucking hit him! Like, the ref hasn't said stop, the ref hasn't stopped the action, so the two of them have stood there.
Some other people would just go and lay, and if that was Ramez, there'd be plenty of people who would just go and chip.
Yeah, that was my thought, was I wanted to see that killer instinct out of Ramez, and it's a learning fight for him. He'll hopefully have that in another time, but a good, really good performance. That little counter was brilliant all the way through the fight.
William Webber's continued his undefeated run since he signed with us. What did you think of him?
Really impressed. Because Iliev is so squat and so strong, William was actually able to manoeuvre him, like get hold of him and move him around as he wanted. And I thought, that's a strong lad you've got there. For 20 years old, there's a lot about him that's like, he's maturing as he's going along. So it wasn't the standard firefight you get out of William, where he seems to get drawn in and just have a scrap. It was actually quite educated. He was happy to box off the ropes when he needed to.
I think he's going to be really good, with a bit of time.
Yeah, no, I agree.
I mean, his dad's a lovely man.
Chatting with his dad, and
lovely man, and they've had a bit of a rocky start to the career before they come to us, but I actually think he's going to be very, very, very decent, and I'm really looking forward to the journey with him.
They promised me a T-shirt as well next time I see them.
Dennis Wahome, he won again after he had a health scare, but he came back and fought Andy Harris.
That's right.
He won it quite convincingly.
I thought he was going to get Harris out in the first round. Andy was in all sorts of trouble in the corner. Dennis maybe rushed it a little bit, maybe looking for that stoppage, and Andy Harris was experienced enough to just trot away from it and get back, get out of there. But no, it's impressive. I like. Yeah,
Tony Bange didn't have any disasters.
No issues with Tony. He had a decent music as well. Decent singer introduced him to the ring. I don't normally like.
Oh, was it?
I'll be honest. I don't normally like live rapping, singing, etc. Because it normally falls over in some way at your call.
Yeah.
He had a really good singer introduce him, but he was solid enough. Nothing spectacular, but did a job.
Then just on the Goodwin boxers, Vasile Nedelcu, he beat Lee Williams in a close fight, didn't he? Louis Syrett had a tough time, but managed to win the win. That's the main thing. Kieran Leinster beat Louis Van Pooch.
Yeah, that was his debut, wasn't it? He's an impressive physique, Kieran.
Yeah.
Crikey, he's only a young lad, isn't he? But he's got muscles on muscles.
And Callum Myles beat Ricky Rose. That was a tough fight for Callum. Yeah, because Ricky Rose is a tough journeyman, isn't he? So.
Yeah, I was impressed by Callum because he's quite short as well, Callum. But he's able to use that to his advantage when he needs to.
And Graham Till, after a long layoff, come back and got his win.
Yeah, I'd like to see Graham use angles a little bit more. He was very linear, straightforward. But he's been off for a while, hasn't he? And he got the win. It was comprehensive. There was never any doubt about it.
The Harlem Eubank knockout, I've seen that.
Fuck about.
Jesus.
Do you know what? That was right in front of me as well. Like where you are to me, the lad landed. And yeah, like just incredible shot. So well timed. Wasn't a power shot. Wasn't just a sweetly timed left hook counter. Well, I say left hook. It was all like half uppercut, half left hook. Did
you stay for the last fight? Did you see? What was that like? 'Cause I thought that would be quite a good fight. The Ben Smith when you
Ben Smith beat him, but I was chatting with Mark Tibbs for a little bit quickly. He's got very amateur style still, Ben. Very light on his feet, very in, out for his attacks, like little raids. He doesn't stick in there, and I think over time I'd like to see him just... He was so on top of that fight that it would have been nice to have seen him go looking for a stoppage maybe, which didn't really ever look possible with the style he was doing, but faultless in what he did. I just maybe wanted to see a bit more.
And I know you're impressed with Almut Bekbauov.
Yeah. So he's out of Stonebridge, isn't he?
Yeah, Ali manages him from Stonebridge.
Yeah, wow. Like, he was impressive. So he was fighting Peter... can't remember the surname. Lad who had been in with Golovkin back in the day. About 8 years ago.
Daniel Bansky.
That's it. I don't know where I got Peter from.
Daniel Bansky.
Yeah, but it's rare that I've seen a debut with so much intensity, power, aggression, everything you want to see out of it. Like thoughtfulness as well with his attacks. It wasn't windmilling, it was every shot was thrown with intention to hurt and do damage.
Something to watch.
Yeah, like if you get a chance, if he's on a show again, come down and watch him, because he's got something about him that will do it. He had Ronald McIntosh with him.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, Ronald McIntosh was there with him.
Because Ronald actually is really close friends with Ali at Stonebridge.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. What was he doing?
Loitering around at the back, just supporting him.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, it's brilliant to see him there. And
that's nice.
I may not enjoy his commentary at all, but at least, you know, he didn't have to go there and support the lad, I'm sure. But yeah, no, it was good. And people were there, and he was incredibly courteous to people and taking photos and all that stuff. So good on him.
So that's the end of last week.
Yeah, JB Khalid fought as well.
Oh God, I'm forgetting not forgetting him, but yeah.
Yeah, I thought we'd give a mention. Victor Adaga.
It was just walked onto a shot, didn't he? He's going to come back. He's got a lot to sort out outside the ring. I'm going to have a meeting with him. I'm going to have a chat with him before Christmas. We need to do a lot of head searching, because he really hasn't. He's not doing the right things outside the ring. He
didn't do himself justice. He rushed from the off. The bell went, and he was almost running into the other corner to start laying hands on the fella.
He's really good. He's a good amateur. You know, he's got a lot of talent.
Yeah,
that shouldn't be happening.
Yeah, but just got caught again, kind of almost rushing his work too much. He almost needs to re-debut now.
Yeah, that's why.
Go away for 6 months.
Do you know what I think about that? I just think that's what I mentioned. I just think that fight was just an irrelevance. He's got to regroup.
Go away for 6 months. Start again, come back as if that never happened.
No, I think that's fair. That's why I look at it. But I will be speaking to him, and we'll get it sorted.
Yeah. So yeah, this Saturday then. So huge card
this Saturday, haven't we?
Huge card. I've still not got over the fact Linus won't be fighting Tay, but you know I'll suppress that.
We've had Linus in the office today chatting. He's I can only say what Linus says. He is not convinced Tay's turning up in March. He said he's not. But as he said, if he doesn't turn up, that's him done. But you know, I believe what Lee tells me, and Lee said he's definitely going to be there. So as long as he's there, I mean, the problem we originally going 2nd of March, then we made it to the 9th of March.
Yeah.
Then Tay booked a holiday on the 9th. Well, I had a holiday booked on the 9th of March, so that was then out. So we've had to restructure it back to the 2nd of March to accommodate Tay again. So I hope after all this accommodating, we're going to get the fight.
I suppose the difficulty is you can never guarantee someone's not going to get injured, can you? Like you can 100%. You can do everything you can possible to avoid it, but you can't guarantee it. So with all hope, intents and purposes, Tay will.
Linus's thing was Tay never advertised his fight once, the one that he pulled out of, and you go back 6 weeks to when he started fighting. He said, "No, you look on his Linus, or you look on his Facebook, his pictures of him and his wife, which is lovely, but there was no mention about the fight with Linus." And he gets injured 2 weeks before. So Linus is a little bit sceptical, and rightfully so. When you've trained for somebody for that time, he said he didn't believe. Linus doesn't believe he was fighting 6 weeks before. And I know Tay hates me anyway, so I just hope that. I'm only relaying what everybody was saying weeks before, but 2nd of March, it's on. and I believe it'll happen. I believe it will happen, and because Tay has never shirked a fight in his life.
No.
So I don't see why he would want to shirk. Well, I don't believe it. I think my personal belief on the fight. I think Tay was carrying an injury, and he knew he wouldn't. He probably knew in his heart he wouldn't make it. But hopefully, with this extra bit of time, he can come out an injury. So, but Linus has got a very good fight. He's still got.
He's got a
former world
feisty foreigner.
3-0, former world kickboxing champion. Been in loads of television, big kickboxing events around the world, all live on telly. And now he's turned his hands to boxing later on in his career. He'll be coming to win. I think it'll be a lively fight. So Linus still has a thing. And credit to Linus. When Tay pulled out, he said, "Don't give me no foreign journeyman who's coming to lose. I want somebody who's coming to win." Linus wants real fights now. He wants to prove himself, and he said, "I don't want to just con my fans by not having a fight." So this guy's coming to win.
How many rounds are they doing?
8 rounds.
Okay.
Linus says he's not going 8.
So does the other fella then?
Yeah, they both say it's not going 8. The other guy says he's going to knock Linus out in 4. Linus says he goes in 6. But it's going to be a great fight to watch, and it's part of an amazing night.
Yeah.
You've got the Linus fight, and talking about fighters that also take risks, Youssef Khoumari.
Yep. He
doesn't want to get to 10-0 fight. No, he takes on Dave Birmingham, 8-2, former Southern Area champion, coming off a win against Anisu Tuala. Youssef Khoumari is, I think, special. And I think he's going to demonstrate his special on Saturday. But this is what's about fighters that want to fight. This is really important. Not losing to journeymen and then trying to blame everybody in the world when they're not good enough. This is somebody that is a real fighter and he wants to take challenges on. And we've spoken about these fighters that just don't want to fight anybody. When they fight anybody, it's it's just ridiculous. Like Jabran lost, doesn't blame anybody, knows what's gone wrong, got to sort it out. Youssef wants to step up. That's a fantastic fight. So you've got the Linus fight, the Youssef fight, and that's before we even get to the title fights. Jon Palata's taking on an undefeated heavyweight who drew with Ismail Latifa last time. Yeah. He's gone in with somebody who's unbeaten. It's an amazing.
You've got the first female on a Goodwin boxing card, Anelle
Massey, who they've got high hopes for her. She's on, and then you've got so many other fighters. Ellis Zorro's taking on a kid that's undefeated. It's a brilliant card. If you need to be there Saturday, and then you've got the 3 title fights. Jack Hughes looks to set history and win the super flyweight title. He's taking on Ricky Little. For Jack, this is what he's always wanted.
It's his world title fight.
It's his world title fight. And for Jack, he's one of the nicest guys you meet. He's so committed. And I hope for him and Bange that he's able to pull it off. Ricky Little's a lovely man as well. It's going to be a great fight. Deion Jr. Ossie Jervier for the Southern Area. Don't write Ossie off. Big puncher.
Is Deion a cruiserweight? We'll find out.
You're going to find out Saturday because he's going to have somebody that hits him back. Deion's a class act. Ossie's a proven cruiserweight and he can bang. It's a great fight. And then you've got the Myles Shinkwin Joel McIntyre trilogy. What a great fight that is. Yeah. It's an amazing card. Starts at 4, finishes by 11. You've got to get a Yorker and see this on Saturday. It is the card of cards. But you'll have to get there early because ringside's about 4 ringsides left, I think there is at the moment, and about 15 or 20 normal tickets left. That's all we have.
Done. So make sure you're there. Where can we get hold of those? On My Fight Tickets?
MyFightTickets.com. I've got the tickets left, so I would go and buy them on My Fight Tickets. We can't guarantee there'll be tickets on the door. There may be a few, but if you are going to come on the day, do not come at 6 or 7 o'clock to buy, please.
Yeah. Which fight are you looking forward to most? Because there's a whole list of them that we've just gone through.
Believe it or not, it's Jack Hughes.
I thought it might be.
Ossie Jervier, Deion Jr., Myles Shinkwin, Joel McIntyre, all my fighters. I can't enjoy those. They're fights that are the right fights for the boys. Yeah. But Jack Hughes is my fighter. And so for him, he's also looking to make history. And he's also somebody that I think has taken... He started off with everybody treating him as a joke. And he's shown that he's not a joke, and it will be an amazing story for Jack Hughes to win. So I think that fight is good. But I'm actually looking forward to the Linus fight. I'm looking forward to the Youssef fight. I'm looking forward to Jon Palata's fight. I'm looking forward to... I'm just looking down the list here while I'm talking here. I mean, Jerome Campbell, really sensational lightweights fighting. You've got... Daniel Mendes again, who's back out again. Mark Little, I love watching Mark Little.
Robbie Chapman.
You've got Angela Bevilacqua, one of the most exciting super lightweights around. It's just, and I'm not going for every single fight. Anelle fighting the female. It is just a great card. And for those of you sitting around on Saturday and just want to sit up to wait for Tyson Fury Wilder, go to York first. Have a brilliant night because it's going to be amazing. The atmosphere will be electric, and then go off and go and watch Tyson Fury Wilder because I actually think the York card might generate more excitement than Wilder Fury, but let's see.
Indeed.
End of.
And no, it won't be streamed.
No, it won't be streamed.
After your conversation with
don't need to go through that.
with Max.
Terry did actually send me a text afterwards, and he said, who I was aiming the criticism of, but he said, he toned down the actual thing and said to me, because what he wants is the guy sitting in Hertford thinks he should be able to watch the fight without having to go to the venue. So he still believes that behind a paywall. But I'd love if somebody could show me the economics of making that work, and then we would, and it work suffice, then it would work. I just still don't see it.
Yeah.
Still don't see it. But that's for another time. There's something we're working on that may benefit the fighters with that sort of thing. But until there is something where we can generate a substantial benefit for fighters, we won't do it.
Yeah.
When we come out and do it, it will benefit the fighters.
Excellent. Right, let's hit some questions.
Okay, let's go.
LPC1231 on Twitter. With Chisora going to Hay and Frank Buglioni retiring, is Steve looking to add a high-profile signing to his stable, an established person and not an up-and-coming fighter?
I've got Nicola Adams.
Yeah, that was my thought when I read this.
I have Nicola Adams, who's going to fight for a world title next year, and I've been talking to Frank Warren last night about that and when we're going to do it. So I look after Nicola. You have people come to me and ask me to manage them. I don't go out trying to, some people go out and try and poach them. I don't. I wait for people to come. So if somebody of that ilk wants me to manage them, and they're out of contract, they can approach me, and I can do that. But I've got Nicola Adams, and I'm delighted to be managing Nicola, as I was with Frank. So from that point of view, that's really where I am. But I'm happy managing fighters to get them to English, to British, to Commonwealth, to Southern area. I mean, I believe by March, April next year, I'll have a world champion, Commonwealth champion, I'll have an English champions, Southern area champions. So all I'll then be looking for is a European, and I'll have managed everybody at every level. Yeah. So I'm delighted where I am. But I'm happy to manage. I'm delighted with what I've got. I don't need to be looking to add.
I was having a conversation with somebody the other day, and not to try and blow smoke up your ass, because stuff that you probably wouldn't say about yourself, but we were discussing about the fighters whose careers, not that you've necessarily turned around, but that you've redirected. So if you go through the likes of Wadi Camacho, taken from kind of southern area perennially around that, through to Commonwealth. Frank, the British title fight was the first one with yourself, but then those defences and then card in Monaco. Then you look at someone like Derek Chisora, who you've taken from not nowhere because he was always a name and a profile, but remanaged where the problems were and directed. But I was saying, not just because I'm a friend of yours, but because of the fact that any fighter that's kind of, troubled somewhere, hasn't quite reached those levels that they think they probably should be at, would be mad not to pick up a phone when the contract comes up. But it's probably not something you say yourself, but I'll say anyway. Will Michael, outside of Wilder Chisora, what's the biggest fight that can be made in world boxing?
Wilder Joshua. There's no other fight that compares with that.
Outside of Wilder Joshua.
Oh, outside of Wilder Joshua?
Yeah. What's the biggest fight that can be made? Wilder Fury? Joshua Fury?
Well, not Wilder Fury. Wilder Fury hasn't even sold, has it?
Do you know what? It's really disappointing, isn't it? Because
they've not sold it. It's not been sold. It's not really captured the imagination. Worldwide, it's not captured the imagination. What
gets me with that is as it stands, I can't imagine, and I'm happy to be proved wrong, I can't imagine it's going to be a commercial success. Which means that when it comes to whoever's going to try and fight Joshua down the line,
they're going to use that as
their hand is weakened in trying to make that fight, which means Eddie's hand is stronger, which means that the negotiations are going to be even more tortuous and drawn out than they already have been.
See, the biggest fights are always heavyweight fights. So I think possibly the biggest fight down the line will be Usyk Joshua if he's still going there, or Usyk Wilder, or I think the biggest fights, apart from Floyd Mayweather, are always in the heavyweight division. I think Canelo is tainted, and he'll be tainted forever.
And he's lost his dance partners, isn't he now? Really?
Yes. I don't see that. So I think realistically, it's a heavyweight division, a mixture of those that are coming through, and I think that'll always be the biggest fights. I mean, Bellew Hay was so big, wasn't it? And it made so much money, but in reality, you had a cruiserweight fighting a heavyweight that had seen better days with David. And look, David admitted himself, his body had packed up. So,
put it this way, if Chisora and White were welterweights, this wouldn't be a pay-per-view coming up on December 22nd.
I said, it's not a pay-per-view anyway, but somebody went on the last YouTube one, I said this with Max last week, said I was salty and sore about Chisora, that's why I said it wasn't pay-per-view. It's not, I wish Derek the best, I hope he wins, right? But Don Charles is my friend who's in his corner. So it's nothing to do with that. I'm just saying fact that it's not really something that the public should be able to pay for. And they should both be making $500,000 out of the fight on a normal Sky card. I
suppose the counter to that is, tell me why it should be a pay-per-view. By what criteria is this fight a pay-per-view? Because I can't draw one. Certainly not the undercard, and certainly not the main event. So therefore, I'm struggling to. So I just some observation. But I understand that boxers are going to get well remunerated from it, and I think it's fine. But my argument is, let's say, for example, that it would generate that it's a fight that would generate $250,000 each, or that. Let's say that's a going rate for a big fight on a. Well, that's what they should be getting paid. It's not a £3 million fight each, £4 million fight each, which is what I believe they'll get from this. So. Is it really a £3-4 million fight each? I don't think this fight's worth £3 to £4 million per boxer. No. I think it's worth $250,000 per boxer, $500,000 maybe at a push. And I believe that Sky subscriptions should be enough to cover that sort of purses. But anyway, that's the good luck to both men making all the money.
And that's good that and that's the point. It's not their fault. They're going to do what they
absolutely.
It's a system's fault.
No one is blaming the
I'm not criticising Deion or Derek. I think they should be doing this.
Yeah.
But I criticise the system.
If someone said to me, "You can turn up for work, or you can turn up for work for 5 times more," I know which one I'm.
100%. Don't blame the boxers. It's the system's fault.
Paul Oldtime. If a boxer came back from a drugs ban and spoke to Steve looking to be signed, would he consider it or just blankly refuse to work with them?
Depends on who, what, how, who they are, what their moral compass is outside the ring. Did they just make a mistake in life? I think it's really hard to generalise.
Write me a detailed scenario, Paul. We'll put it before next week.
Yeah.
LPC 123 back again. Should venues do the most they can to maximise publicity of a boxing event? Considering the upselling of food or drinks, it makes sense to me they would want to publicise events. This on the back, he picked up the York Hall. I haven't tweeted since, I don't know, March, May, something like that. Do you think it's a venue's responsibility to help a promoter get the message?
It's not their responsibility, no, it's the promoter's responsibility. In York Hall, I think they've got their own internal issues, so I think they've had change of management quite a few times this year, so I think they've got their own house to put in order rather than worried about promoting events, and they're in such demand for their events. Their charges have gone up substantially for next year, unfortunately.
Yeah.
And they don't need to advertise, they can just put the prices up.
This was my view of it, is that once they've sold the event to you, that's kind of like, I get they might get food and drinks, but if they agreed, not contractually, but like, we'll lend you a hand, we'll put a tweet out, once a month or whatever. Say if they did 3 for you, but 5 for Cyclone. Not intentionally, they didn't get round to it. If you then got recompense to come back and say, wait a minute, we haven't got the same publicity.
But then the contract can say we'll endeavour to do it whenever possible. That'd be okay.
Yeah.
But I personally feel it's hard, but we try and it's up to the promoter and the boxers to publicise the fight.
Yeah. So you don't begrudge them?
I don't begrudge them.
All right, UK Boxing 1 on Twitter. I hate to mention the dreaded word, but in your opinion, how/will Brexit impact boxing?
That's really a good question, though. Now, this is. I voted for Brexit.
You did. You were very pro it, weren't you?
Very pro Brexit. I wasn't pro Theresa. I'm not going to go into political debate. I guess not pro Theresa May, right? Because we've waited, and the situation we're in now is not what anybody.
It's not what you voted for.
No, not what anybody voted. Well, we voted to Brexit, but I didn't vote to half Brexit, half and get all the worst and none of the gains. I voted for Brexit despite the fact that it will push up foreign boxer costs, and the chances are that the pound will fall against the euro for a period of time. So from a personal point of view, it will affect small hall boxing quite heavily. But I was voting, like I always do, from what I believe to be the best for everybody, not the best for me personally. So I think that it will have an impact on boxing. but it will have an impact on costings, but so is everything else in small hall boxing. It's hard for any promoter will tell you that it's very, very difficult to break even in smaller hall boxing, and I think most of the people that I know that are doing it are losing substantial money. We're not, but we've got a financial model that holds it together, but we're not.
You're not making substantial.
Nobody's making. The pros are making lots, but they're not hemorrhaging.
Yeah.
But it is going to be very, very, very difficult. Very difficult through Brexit.
So take the scenario of a journeyman, because once we leave Europe, let's roll it forward 24 months. Potentially you might need to get a work visa for each journeyman that comes over,
and then they might look and say, well, hold on, can a UK person
exactly
do that job?
Yeah, so that's going to be, so look at it as a Premier League club, like that's going to be everyone from within the EU will now need to undergo the same criteria that somebody outside the EU requires, and people get turned down for work permits.
This could be a problem. So it could be a problem. What could end up happening is the journeymen run out and fighters have to fight each other.
Yeah,
that could happen. You could end up with more competitive boxing, I suppose. But that's all. That is a thing going down the line. That's potentially possible. However, I think you'd have to demonstrate to the there is a lack of journeymen, so there isn't people to do all the work. So I think you'd probably get away with that. But because you get away, you bring foreign boxers in, can't you, from not Europe at the moment, and you get them in as opponents, so I don't see why that would make any
But I suppose the knock-on impact to that then is, I know it's just a small one really, but the administration of a small hall boxing company, suddenly you've got to do the paperwork with the Home Office to get an application.
Well, I presume what's going to happen is the first promoter that deals with them is going to have the problem. And
you'll be sat on your hands.
And the other promoters will sit, because what will happen, right? Foreign boxers go, I've got to pay a £200 visa fee, I want you to pay it. But then they want you to pay it, and then I'll pay it, and then next week MTK get them for free, and then Greg Steen gets them the week after.
That's
so
true.
That will be the problem, is that who's going to pay for this, these fees, and are you going? All promoters going to be going, I only want to book people that have already got the visas. Yeah. So that's going to be your problem.
Suddenly Lewis Van Pooch is going to be a very busy man in 2
years. Busy anyway. He's boxing again Saturday.
he was brilliant on Saturday. He was
great guy, isn't he?
God, he was fighting. The lad making his debut, Kieran Leinster, who had "Let Me Entertain You" by Robbie Williams as his entrance music. And I was just sat watching Poochie in the ring, who was just having a singer, like singing his heart out to this song as it's going on.
Really? It's a great guy. He's great. He's going to the Boxing Awards dinner on Thursday.
Is he?
So I said to him, watching him, make sure he don't eat too much because he's got to make weight on Saturday.
Who's he fighting?
He's coming to fight Robbie Chapman.
Oh, okay, because he was meant to be fighting elsewhere, wasn't he, Poochie, and that got called off.
Yeah, so we've had a switch. Dale Sharp has pulled out, so Lewis has come here. So,
right.
Yeah, so it's all
I love
jumping around. But he's there Saturday, but he won't be. I'll be watching him like a hawk on Thursday night.
Right, we'll move on from Brexit. Another question from UK Boxing 1. British cruiserweight. I'm going to have to reword this for you. British cruiserweight seems very active. Rather not see a Coley fight at the moment, but could we see Camacho versus Watkins / Glover / Riakporhe anytime soon? We'll start with that one.
Well, let's start with that one. Waddy Camacho has earned the right now. He's Commonwealth champion, right? He's above those three, right? In terms of what he holds, to what they offer. He can fight any of them if somebody's going to give them money, but they're not going to pay enough money. So that's the bottom line. Why should Waddy be fighting for crap money? He's 33, he's got his Commonwealth title. He needs to be paid. He won't get enough money to fight those guys. I can't. And then what do they bring? It's not that they're not going to bring money. I can't imagine anyone paying a fortune for Riakporhe or Glover against Waddy Camacho. Can you?
No, not at all.
So what's the point?
Yeah, no, I agree.
We're not short of offers, and I've sort of told everybody he's hurt his hand at the moment. So come back to us in the new year. We're not going to be short of offers, but we're not fighting for crap money. He's paid his dues. He's fought lots of people for small money. What he's entitled now to get a good payday.
If he won't fight for crap money, is it possible that he defends it on one of your shows against an easier, in inverted commas?
Well, the bottom line is, if we're going to have a tough fight, we want to get well paid.
Yeah.
Other than that, he'll tick over, and we can do a voluntary before the end of June.
Right.
So it's only his mandatory gets served after June. I'm confident though. I've had so many messages of people looking to fight him, and you see, if you take Luke Watkins for example, Luke Watkins is now out of contract with Matchroom. Giving you this as an example, so Luke doesn't have a big promoter behind him.
Yeah.
Who's going to pay?
Yeah.
Who's going to pay? Luke Watkins is a good fighter.
Yeah.
Who's going to pay?
No, I agree.
Who's going to pay?
Yeah, I sat with Waddy on Saturday night. He came and sat with me because I sat on my own doing my write-ups, and so he came and sat with me for pretty much all the evening, but kept darting off. He brought his belt down with him and took photos of anyone that wanted a belt. Probably anyone that didn't want a photo. He was quite happy to take a photo with as well. He was so proud of it. It was lovely to watch.
So he should be.
Second part of that question was also, if Tony Conquest was to beat Turchi on Friday, where does that put him in the current scene? With everyone else, I guess.
With everyone else, he's won an international belt. You know what these international belts get you rankings. Again, same thing. If somebody wants to come do a fight between Tony, if he wins, and Waddy, would be delighted.
Yeah,
if the money's okay.
All right. Final question, Daniel Smith. Love this question. If Steve had the choice, would he choose either one governing body with one world title, better fights regularly with just the one rankings, or one global doping agency, every fighter with a license tested each quarter, no exceptions, and tested on fight week? They have full control with set bans.
Okay,
that's a great question.
Right, let's go on to question 2. The problem with question 2.
Well, you got to pick one or the other.
But if you got 2, but if you had 2, are you seriously going to tell me that all of my fighters? Because the promoters have to pay for this.
Let's assume it's free.
Oh, if it's free?
I'm going to assume it's free.
Oh, free. Number 2.
So clean.
I want everybody doped. Everybody doped.
You want everybody doped?
Don't tested.
No.
Everybody doped. I want everybody dope tested. Oh God, no question. You can have to clean the sport up, get rid of the cheats. And 100%.
So over the one body, one rankings.
Yeah, 100%. You want a clean sport, and it's not clean, and you need it to be cleaned up. You know this thing about in competition, out of competition, in competition means a day. It's just garbage.
You just need one set of rules.
If you're cheating, you're cheating. If you're taking something that gives you an edge,
an enhanced performance.
You know, look at how many bike riders have asthma.
I know. It's incredible, isn't it? They're great.
Oh, they've all got asthma. My father's got asthma. He's unfortunate. He's got
shit doorbell and asthma. Good luck.
I mean, I'm just saying that, not saying for any reason, but everybody's got asthma.
Yeah.
And I just feel that, you know, at the end of the day, it's just, and I'm not saying everybody's cheating, but Mo Farah could be the cleanest athlete in the world, right? But he's taking an inhaler for asthma. But the fact that some people out there cheat by taking an inhaler for asthma, I mean, it's known, right? Means that those that have genuinely, I've got asthma, right? So if I was an athlete, I'd be taking an inhaler, but it wouldn't mean I'd be drug cheating.
Yeah.
Because I've got it. But we don't know who's cheating and who's real. So you need to have a better system.
Yeah. No, I think.
And if you are claiming you've got asthma, right? You need a proper test to see if you got it.
I am praying that one of my children grows up with asthma because it enhances their possibility of becoming a world champion at something. That's just the odds. It's amazing. So
I'd rather it be 2, but then not only the testing, how they test and what they allow needs to be changed. And if you are going to claim you've got asthma, I think you should be on. There should be the most extensive test of you to prove. It's quite easy. I'm sure they've got a way of testing.
Yeah.
Somebody's got asthma.
Well, you check your oxygen levels, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, I get it checked. Oh, you check how much oxygen's getting through to. I mean, I had it one last week because my heart thing as well. But so I'd rather the sport be clean.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a question, to be honest. I don't.
So yeah. So just one set of rules: what's legal, what's illegal, all the time.
Otherwise, you get one belt, one champion, but everybody's cheating even harder because they're trying to get that one belt.
To be fair, like the Olympics, I want a doped Olympics. I want to see how fast a man can run 100 metres. Like, if you let them just fucking needles in their arms still going down that track, I want to see if you can do it in like 3 seconds. That'd be incredible. I think they all have 2. One that's like, you know, in bodybuilding they do clean and dirty.
Yeah.
Do that in athletics. I'm not saying do it in combat sports because that's mental.
No,
but do it in sports where you can't hurt anyone but yourself. I want to see that. That's what I'm after.
No, that makes sense.
The dirty Olympics.
Oh.
Yeah, people pole vaulting like 500 foot, and that'd be incredible.
It's terrible.
Anyway, gone off on a tangent. Saturday, 4 o'clock doors.
4 o'clock first fight. 3:30 doors. 4 o'clock first fight. The Linus Udofia fight is scheduled for around 6:30 to 7. And then you've got...
Which means get there for 5:30, maybe even 5.
Because if there's a few 4-rounders and 6-round prep, then it starts, and then you've got the whole thing kicks. You've got the big fights, the Linus Udofia, you've got the Youssef Khoumari, you've got the 3 title fights, you've got Anelle Massey, all kicking on at that sort of time.
Yeah, lovely. Cannot wait.
Gonna be a great night.
Cannot wait. And you have a different energy on those nights as well.
God, yeah.
You can tell. You can tell. It's right. Lovely. Once again, all the best to Frank. We'll see you Saturday, hopefully. Congratulations on your career. And that's everything for this week. So we'll see you next week with a full review of what goes down Saturday. Thank you very much.
Cheers.